There's a little boy who went fishing. He was poor. He didn't have a nice rod and reel. He had a tree branch, or small branch that he tied some line onto. He dug up some worms from out by a tree, and he used those to fish. While he was sitting there on the creek bank watching his line, some rich fellas drove up in a big truck. They got out, they had brand new rods and reels. They had fancy artificial lures. And they stood on the bank and they laughed and they splashed and they carried on throughout the day. Went all day, they didn't catch a thing. Every few minutes, the little boy would pull a fish in. On his homemade rod, he pulled another in. Finally, one of those rich fellows looked over there and said, "Fella, we've got all this fancy equipment. We haven't caught a thing. How is it you've caught all those fish today?" The little boy looked at him. He said, "Well, I'm fishing for fish. You're fishing for fun. I'm fishing for fish." In other words, he was focused on the task at hand. Didn't matter what he was using, he was all about fishing for fish. Those other boys had plenty of money, they had plenty of equipment, but they were more concerned with playing than they were with fishing. It wasn't their focus. We've got to be careful that we don't lend our focus to something other than fishing for men, as Jesus put it. Reaching the world for Christ. That has to be first. That has to be our motivation. Whether we have the fancy means to do it or not. That's what we've got to do.